I love this new era of movies where you go in with such low expectations that you end up having a good time. It makes it worth it, really.
It honestly must have helped because like this isn't a good movie, and I know it's not a good movie. And watching it, I'm like, okay, this isn't a good movie.
And everyone on the internet saying it's not a good movie.
A lot of people are still saying it's worse than The Flash, but I think this was way better than The Flash.
I don't get
in
that.
pretty much every way.
This is better than a lot of DCU movies.
It's probably, is it the best? I don't know, but
I wouldn't say the best.
What's the best DC
Man
movie?
of Steel.
No, I don't like that one.
Justice League.
No, wait, Justice League?
Oh, Wonder Woman 1.
Wonder Woman 1?
Because it was just Captain America.
I don't even remember loving that.
The first half
I feel like
of
this is
Wonder
the
Woman 1.
first time I've walked out of a DC movie and I was like, that wasn't, like, that was, I enjoyed myself, I guess. I don't know whether just the vitriol for Amber Heard has reached a new level.
I did see her when I first saw her on the screen. I was like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. But do I have a weakness for hot redheads? Yeah.
She also only gets 9 lines. I counted. She gets 9 lines in the movie, and she's on screen for probably like 5.5 minutes. It's so little. It's a lot of her lines even feel ADR, and because everyone's got like the head floaty because of the
You were
hair,
saying that you were like, I don't even know if she's there.
it might not have been her. Honestly,
Yeah.
they might have been like, get off set because she's background for most of it, and that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah,
There is a plot.
there is.
Unlike a lot of movies today, it felt like there was a plot. It was a
Aquaman
stupid
is
plot.
a dad. That's
And
the
he's
plot.
Captain Planet. He has to fix the greenhouse gas emissions. Because it's like, oh, who do we have as the bad guy in the first movie? Black Manta. Who should we have for the second movie?
Let's go through Aquaman's rogues gallery. Black Manta again.
Let's go with Black Manta again. But this time he's angrier. I actually found him threatening. I was pretty excited about that. I was like, this is interesting to feel threatened by a villain.
And quippy?
That I didn't love the random quippy. What was his line?
He was like, "You stole your brother's girl? That's sad, Aquaman." I'm like, what the fuck? You're our like stone cold killer.
It's like they had shown him being like stone cold up until that one quip,
and then he gets
and he goes
possessed,
even
which is
crazier.
even crazier.
He was already possessed by that point too, so there's no reason for him to start quipping. But it was at least a good line and very true.
Yes. The best part about me is I forgot all about Aquaman 1. So I had no idea that Mera was with Orm. I guess she was just like...
Yeah, with him. Like, she sat next to him for like a second, and then they fought over her or something, or like fought for the king, and then she was like, cool, new hot guy, I'm in.
Excellent. Do I get to be queen if I'm with him? Excellent.
That's all she's after. Money hungry bitch.
Well, I think you thought this a lot, is that when she got blip-blapped at like the 30-minute mark of the movie, she was just going to be out of the movie completely.
Her first line isn't for 15 minutes. She's in the movie up till then because they show Aquaman trying to be a dad. But like he's always holding the baby and she's like always folding, washing off to the side, being like, at 30 minutes, they shoot her in the chest with the laser and it looks like she's not going to be able to talk or like do anything. And it felt like mad reshoot. It might have been she got damaged in the original fight, but then they tweaked it, so then she's damaged in bed.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, underwater floaty head could have been CGI.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's just like, Nicole Kidman's around her, like, oh no, what are we going to do?
Well, it's like, I'm like, what if she goes to the premiere? She's like, you're going to love what I do in this movie. And they just like kill her. And then she just shows up back in,
Fixed it in editing.
I don't even know if she would have wanted to be there.
Probably not.
You know?
It sounds like it was a terrible mess on every level of this movie.
But enough about Amber Heard. We're here for Aquaman, damn
even
it.
the fact that like the movie was abandoned by like even James Gunn. Like for The Flash, he kept up the facade and he's like, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And they were like, Tom Cruise loves The Flash.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And this movie, no one ever fucking said anything about it.
The only thing I heard people saying about this movie on like the approach to this movie's release is people saying, time for the DCEU to finally die. Like people were like, the countdown's on.
And it's not even a like, this is the end, big culmination. Like, imagine if the MCU finished on Endgame.
Yeah.
People would have been like, fucking wow. But like...
You ended it on Aquaman 2. It's like, imagine the MCU ended on Iron Man 2. It's like, people are like, what?
They ended
is that
this
supposed to be
movie
more?
on Aquaman's brother Orm eating a cockroach to cheeseburger.
They should have just made like an on-the-nose joke about the DCU being dead. I think that would have been the funniest thing.
And they don't even end it with like the I am Aquaman or anything like that, which is just I am Iron Man again. Can you do that? Is that allowed? But sorry, the plot.
Yes.
So it's Aquaman doesn't want to be king, just wants to be a dad. And they go into how he never wanted to be king. And I don't remember the first movie at all, but maybe he didn't ever want to be king. I don't know. But the other half is Black Manta is burning fuel, like fossil fuel, the original
Like
fossil
pure
fuel.
greenhouse gases.
And it comes out in comedically greenhouse gas. And he's doing this to melt the ice caps. And he's melting the ice caps to unleash a primal evil from King Atlan days, which is already super
Why couldn't
ridiculous.
he just use eye lasers to melt the ice?
That would have made more sense. I mean, he shoots the thing with a rocket launcher to like break it up eventually. So it's like there's no reason it had to be this weird greenhouse gas story.
I'm sure there's a point to it.
I honestly, everything feels like a message nowadays, but like maybe it's because they were doing greenhouse gas emissions since the 90s as like the threat, or even the 70s. There's an episode of Doctor Who in the 70s about like greenhouse gases will kill the planet.
This movie's like anti Taylor Swift.
Maybe they felt like they had to say something because they barely go into it. There is one line where Manta's like, we're just speeding up the process.
Yeah.
And it's like, I buy a lot though. It's like you're trying to destroy the planet.
Yeah, it's like,
very
and I don't
quickly.
understand. It's like the whole thing of if you help the villain achieve this, there isn't a world for you to live in.
Yes.
You know, and maybe he'd become some type of like god monster who could live in the destroyed world. But it's like everyone.
And everyone follows him blindly except one guy.
And you'd think he'd still have a love for the ocean, seeing as like him and his dad were like these like water pirate kind of guys.
Does that mean you have a love for the ocean if you're a water pirate?
Yes.
Okay.
Surely you love the sea if you're willing to
Maybe,
spend that
yeah.
much time in it.
You just want to boat around, but you also have to plunder to keep on
Correct.
living on
How you
that sea.
gonna afford oxygen?
They do a flashback to show his motivation as well, in
Yes.
case you don't. In
They're
case
like,
no-
in case
you didn't see
nobody
it.
watched Aquaman 1,
Which is likely.
Here's the important stuff. They literally show Black Manta's dad getting killed and him fighting Orm in like the
Yes,
arena.
literally the
so
only
it's like,
two bits of that movie that mattered.
So it's like, oh, okay, the important bits.
Plot stupid as hell, but there was an element of like family love and like brotherly love and forgiveness, which was better than I think it had any right to be.
Yeah, like I loved the parts with Boba Fett. What's his name? Tamura Morrison. Tamura Morrison. Honestly, loved the parts with him where he was like giving him like the dad talk and like the I'm proud of you and find your brother and love him and like all that kind of stuff. Like it was heartwarming coming from him.
Yeah, he's like, I could never give you the brother I always knew you wanted. And it's like, yeah, it had no right to be good. And it's probably just because the actors are doing well, not because the script had anything going for it.
Yeah, and I did say this to Dan that I don't think anybody could play Aquaman better than Jason Momoa now. It's weird. I just can't see anybody doing it.
He's not what Aquaman ever was. The weird thing.
What,
like,
white?
White, blonde, and gay as hell.
What about the fish?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like Aquaman's always been a joke. I'm sure there's really cool Aquaman comics. I don't care. I don't care about man talk to fish. But like,
You can't talk to the fish. Technically, you can like kind of just manipulate their brainwaves, okay?
but then in this movie they say you're talking to the fish to his son. But
Okay, all right.
he's fantastic as it. But he's just playing Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
He's not actually playing Aquaman. So like when they transition him to be Lobo. When they transition him to be Lobo, he's going to be just as good, if not better, because he's going to be able to be sadistic.
Like a little bit like.
Yeah, well, everyone loves him in Fast X, apparently, because he gets to be loopy, he gets to be cuckoo. And like that's him as Lobo. It's just Jason Momoa, but more sadistic and willing to blow things up. And I think the only other real Lobo we've seen in live action would be in the Krypton TV show. And that Lobo was pretty fun.
Ew!
But it was he was in it like 2 episodes, and that was in like season 3, where they're just like, we know we're cancelled.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Actually, the one thing that I did like in this that was memorable is they talk about like an ancient race of Atlanteans who moved to the desert and like forgone any water and they live off blood. And they're kind of like these like sand creatures.
You enjoyed the prison
like,
break section?
No.
Oh, just the lore behind it.
Do not put words in my mouth.
Just the
I
lore.
just liked the lore of like, these guys were Atlanteans and they just like, what if we just hated the water? And there was like these like gross demons,
There's
like
not enough room
sand
for
people
us.
with these dune worms.
They go to the desert to free his brother Orm. But the desert prison for the Atlanteans is weirdly close to the water. And they go through this big, like, Ocean's 11 thing where they're like, we got to break in. You're going to need this camouflage suit. so that you can't do this. You're going to need this. It's going to be super hard. And then 5 minutes later, he's like finished the whole heist and it was super easy. All he did was he was invisible for a second, which he can do now. And then he just punches people.
No, he can only do it for that one section. Because imagine in the fight against Black Manta at the end, he just went invisible.
Couldn't see him.
He just went invisible and then just like stabbed him in the head. That'd be pretty cool.
You were shocked that it was James Wan and you didn't even realize it was the first one.
The guy from Conjuring and half of the first Saw movies.
The first 15 minutes, maybe even less, first 5-10 minutes is like this horror escapade. It sets up how Black Manta gets
evil
possessed.
powers.
Yeah, gets possessed and gets evil powers by finding a black trident at the bottom of Antarctica or the ice cap somewhere. He gets it in the snow. And the way he gets that is by fracking the earth or something, but then his scientists end up falling down this cavern and it's super dark and spooky, and it's actually like, it's very atmospheric. And then they go to this other huge cavern and it's super atmospheric and creepy and you think anything could happen because it's like James Wan actually getting to do what he wants to do before he suddenly has to go back to doing a big explodey action mess of a thing. That's my main takeaway. It was weirdly fun. And the brotherly love aspect was nicer than it should have been.
That was good. I like how like Jason Momoa's like goofy like delivery of like lines was like fun, and like Orm's like bit of out of touch. It's very cliche. Like one guy's funny and the other guy's like a bit out of touch because he's a bit of like an alien character.
Yeah, it turns into buddy cop in the middle there. The movie probably would have sucked without Jason Momoa.
Agreed. And the guy from Conjuring who plays Orm, by the way.
He's the same guy.
He's the main guy. So it's like they're both obviously great actors and like they play well to their characters, which like complement each other. So it's like this cascading effect of like, hey, like thank God we have these things that work together.
Yeah. The script itself is really doing nothing to actually help the movie. It's just not holding it back by being this overbearing message. I think the way they get away with it, probably wasn't on purpose, but the greenhouse gas emissions global warming thing is just so dumb and overdone by today that it kind of blends into the background as this stupid little thing they're doing so that the evil guy can be evil.
They're burning the orichalcum.
Yeah, and they go to get the orichalcum and there's no security, and then
it's a big safe.
There's so many stupid things.
The squid was there.
The alarm squid that's like squids away and then sets off the alarm, and then they still get away, and then they go to destroy Atlantis or to fuck with Atlantis for basically no reason. But they shoot a bunch of... They have a sonic weapon that they shoot at it. And Atlantis itself has 2 guns and it's traffic jam going on. I'm like, how is this a city?
It's like it's the border to Mexico.
Yeah, this is meant to be like the city of the world, basically, like Atlantis.
They're essentially underwater Wakanda, is what they're supposed to be.
And they are at the end of the movie,
and that's a little another subplot is Aquaman's like, I want to share our technology with the world. And they're like, no, let us die.
Well, you'd think he'd be able to because he's the king. But they've magically...
He has to go to Congress.
Yeah, out of nowhere, there's a magical like underwater Congress that he has to get all his things through.
Did Orm have to deal with the Congress?
No, they didn't exist. And you're not a king if you have to do that kind of shit. Like, you're supposed to just have god power at that point.
He's not the president of Atlantis. He's the king.
Yeah, he's meant to just be like,
it's
make
a
it so.
Futuristic ancient civilization.
Like the king of Wakanda.
Exactly.
Which is what, if Wakanda had a Congress, then the first movie wouldn't have been able to happen because Killmonger wouldn't have been able to be like,
I understand if it was like, because they make a big thing about like, and I don't remember if they even mentioned it in the first movies, and thank God Aquaman is our idiot insert character where he's like, I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? And I'm like,
he's been the king long enough to have a baby and everything, and he still has no fucking clue what's going on.
But it's like, they mention like the 8 tribes of the underwater Atlanteans. So it's like
kings.
So it's like, I'd understand if they had to have like a high council of all the kings gathering and they all went against him.
Yeah.
But I think they didn't want that because they want everyone to kind of team up in the end. So it's like, bureaucracy is holding me back.
They also rip off really weird things. Like they go to Mos Eisley for a bit there.
They do.
To talk to Jabba the Hutt. And Jabba the Hutt's a giant fish.
I don't have hands. Or feet.
You're spoiling it. Aquaman's trying to... what do they even need?
They need information on where to find Black Manta.
That's right, is stupid. It's a filler scene, so they need information.
And then they go there, and there's a massive volcano spilling out a plume of green smoke.
But they have one line where they say, this whole place must be shielded so the people don't see it. And it's like, cool. Cool. But so they're underwater in Mos Eisley talking to Jabba the Fish. And then...
Yes, Aquaman's like, I didn't trust these guys.
Yeah, Aquaman's like, I'll never work with Jabba the Fish. He's got too much blood on his hands. And then Jabba the Fish is like, I don't have hands or feet. And there's like this weird pause and like all the fish around him laugh. And again, it's so dumb it was somehow funny. I don't know, I shouldn't have laughed at that, but I did.
Yeah. It's that thing again of your expectations are so low that you really don't expect it. And I think that's an unfortunate future that we have to like not look forward to, but it's like that's going to be the next steps going forward with any type of like superhero movie. I think like the superhero burnout that everyone talks about.
We've done all the good superhero movies.
It's like that people are going to go in and everyone's going to shit talk movies going into them for the rest of eternity, at least superhero movies. I think that you're going to end up in this weird cycle of like people shit talk it. You are like, oh, that was okay because you went in with such low expectations. And so I don't know if we can recover from that. Like, I don't know if they release 5 blockbusters in a row, is it going to be like cyclical?
I wonder if they're going to start like using that to advertise movies somehow. Like they're going to try lowering our expectations. So we're like, you know what? That wasn't as bad. So we're going to get like review bombs.
But you can't do it too much because then you get you might get like the Marvels effect where it's like you got an okay movie, but people like just shit on it so much that no one gave it the chance to go watch it.
Yeah, true. You know? I guess, yeah, if you shit on it too much, then people are just going to watch reviews instead.
You might get a, what was that zombie game? Days Gone?
Days Gone.
Where people like, no one played it and then it got released for free and everyone was like, dude, can we get a number 2? And the director like went on the internet and being like, fuck you guys, if you don't give me a fucking chance, obviously I'm not going to give you a number 2. You guys shit on my game and didn't even play it. And now that it's free,
that was
you want a second one?
Hey.
Yes.
Yes.
Your bikey Sam Witwer in his own podcast, which was a great game, but just that's the thing, no one played it. And then it was free on PSN and everyone played it and everyone loved it, and the director was like, he's like, I could be a millionaire right now. But anyway, back to my point is, I wonder if people are going to give superhero movies and TV shows a chance enough for them to hit record numbers again. I did enjoy this one though.
Yeah, I had fun, I guess.
More than The Flash.
More than The Flash, easily.
CGI
I would
was
just say
also
I had
bad.
fun in this movie. I don't know if it's worth watching though. Maybe if you're really bored. Maybe
if you're bored and you want a cinema experience.
When it's on streaming.
Yeah. When it comes out
watch it for free.
On DC Plus.
I had fun, but it's not worth anything
It's
else.
a fun movie. Get drunk. Invite some of your Pacific Islander friends over. They'll tell you what some of the words mean. And he does a haka in it. Don't worry. You wouldn't understand. You're culturally blind.
I'm very white. I'm sorry.
I'll move the Marvels down to a 5 and I'll move Flash down to a 3. Just let us know what you thought of the DCU's lifespan.
Was this a good way to go out on it?
Ooh, what was your favorite DCEU movie?
Yeah, sorry. What is the best what is the best DCEU movie?
Yes.
I think this might be it because I've not really enjoyed any of them.
Yeah. Oh, I like Man of Steel.
Terrible film.
Either way, I think that what you should do is actually subscribe.
Oh.
Subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of Q1 2024.
My birthday.
Which will remain anonymous.
You have a month and a half.
Subscribe. Get your mum to subscribe. Ring the notification bell.